All right, a big union ad attacking Republicans, and among them, my next guest, John Thune, the senator from South Dakota, for pushing legislation or blocking any attempt to save this country from the debt crisis. So, Senator, I guess you're single-handedly responsible for destroying the country. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, it looks like they rounded up the usual suspects, Neil. Now the defenders of big government are all out there running ads. But
you know, this is a familiar theme, and we've heard it to various degrees against Tea parties as well, that by blocking a debt ceiling hike for whatever meritorious reasons, Social Security recipients get hurt, Medicare recipients get hurt, our soldiers get hurt, et al., right?
Which won't happen. It's fear-mongering at its worst.
When you say it won't happen, so the second
resolved.
comes, you don't have the deal, it won't happen.
Well, I mean, I think either way, and we're going to have a deal. But even in the event that we did, you're going to protect Social Security recipients, military, you're going to pay your bondholders. Those sorts of things are going to get taken care of. So the ad is just completely off the mark. It is. It's fear-mongering. It's playing politics right now. We really don't need that. We ought to be focused on fixing the problem. And so, my view on this is that we ought to be doing less of that and more of sitting down and trying to figure out how do we get there between now and Tuesday.
Well, is
I think
any of
that
that
will happen.
going on? Because I don't see it. So I know the House is still pushing this measure. I know the Senate separately, through Harry Reid, is pushing his measure. That you're not a fan of that particular measure. He might have trouble just rallying Democrats to that measure. Having said that, then what? What's the backup, the plan B or C?
Well, I think that would probably trigger a negotiation if that happens. I happen to believe the only plan that's passed the House of Congress so far is the cut, cap, and balance bill,
right.
And now this one's going to pass the House. It'll come over here. If it doesn't get votes in the Senate and the Reid plan doesn't get the votes, we ought to sit down and figure out how can we get the best plan forward.
So if Reid takes that up, even though he said that it wouldn't procedurally, wouldn't do it, would that change things for you, or what?
Well, I think that if Reid takes his plan up, he will probably get a vote on it. I don't know how that would come out at this point. My hope would be that we would be able to defeat it because it needs to be strengthened. If his is going to be the bill that goes back to the House, you've got to have something that can get 216 votes in the House.
Is there anything out there that can?
Well, I think you could get, if you figured out a way to make changes in the Reid bill to make it stronger, to make some of these cuts real as opposed to phony, and you put a process in place that allows for real entitlement reform to occur, which his bill currently doesn't, you could probably figure out a way to bridge this difference. I don't think they're that far apart, but I know this, that if the Reid bill passes in the Senate and it goes to the House, it probably gets defeated, and that doesn't help anybody. So we need to set up this negotiation. Sides need to come together, and we need to solve this. I think it can happen, and I believe it will.
Senator, wouldn't it be a kick in the fanny, though, as I've said with some of the prior guests, the ratings agencies downgrade U.S. debt regardless?
They could, and I hope they won't. But, my view is that we have to do what we can. We have to figure out, right now it's a matter of math. It's going to be 216 in the House, 60 votes in the Senate. What can we pass? What can we put on the President's desk that can get a presidential signature? I think we've probably done as much as we can as Republicans in a government that's controlled by a liberal president and a left-of-center Senate Democrats to get as much as we can in terms of spending reductions. But my view in the end of this is that we need to get this done, and I hope we can get the best possible deal.
Senator, thank you very much.
All right,
Not a bead of sweat on you. I don't know how you do that.
Well,
but thank you.
You don't take your jacket off.
I know. Well, we have our standards.
Such a formal guy.
I know, exactly. Very formal guy. Senator, thank you very much.